Hello. Um, so we have a guest from the monastery of Sikkim. Like, can you tell who you are?
Okay. Hello, and firstly, my name is
Mm-hmm.
Pema, and I study in the Rumtek Monastery, the
Mm-hmm.
Commercial Management Institute in the Sikkim.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Higher Buddhist Study
Mm-hmm.
Institute, which is affiliated to the Sampurana Sanskrit Vishwavidhalaya in Varanasi.
Mm-hmm.
So I've graduated here in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
and just now I'm serving as the teacher for
Mm-hmm.
my junior friends, my junior
Mm-hmm.
monks, sharing about Buddhism.
Mm-hmm. So when we talk about Buddhism, uh, we generally think of meditation and things like that. How do you see? What is the goal of being a Buddha actually?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in like Buddhism, when we talked about the meditation,
Mm-hmm.
actually it's like living the way of life
Mm-hmm.
or practicing Buddhism as the way of life,
Mm-hmm.
being awareness of
Mm-hmm.
what you are thinking, what you are
Mm-hmm.
talking, what you are doing in your
Mm-hmm.
present moment.
Mm-hmm.
So this the learning Buddhism is it means like
Mm-hmm.
knowing more about yourself and
Mm-hmm.
involving or investing yourself
Mm-hmm. Like,
in more in your
mm,
like uh, about your life or
mm-hmm.
about yourself
Mm-hmm. So why somebody has to do that? Like,
to actually normally the people all the peoples or all the living beings
mm-hmm.
needs or wants or wish to have happiness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is the what I think is that the Buddhism is also one of the best way
Mm-hmm.
that we can apply in our daily life
Mm-hmm.
to search or to achieve
Mm-hmm.
what we want,
Mm-hmm.
which is happiness,
Mm-hmm.
to achieve that happiness.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one of the method that which we can apply.
So when we talk about happiness, like, it is very important to know what is a happiness. Like,
Yes, yes,
there is a problem which is a philosophical
yes, yes,
problem. Like, if you don't know what is happiness,
yes,
then you still don't know. I mean,
yeah,
until at last you are experiencing
yes,
the
yes,
real
yes,
happiness, you
yes.
really don't know what is happiness.
Happiness, yes, that's true.
So it's a definition of a happiness also, somehow it is required. Like,
Yeah,
so
that's
how do you feel about that? What do you mean by a real happiness?
okay. So as per my understanding of the Buddhism, till what I learned is
Mm-hmm.
like being happiness is like achieving the certain state of achievement or the state of mind
Mm-hmm.
which gives us the ultimate happiness
Mm-hmm.
or the uh, like unending happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the happiness which we are having in our daily life, in the
Mm-hmm.
worldly life,
Mm-hmm.
uh, in our normally which it's
Mm-hmm.
last for only for like few hours, few days or a certain moment.
Mm-hmm.
But the happiness that which we achieve
Mm-hmm.
through the learning, the
Mm-hmm.
following the teachings of the Buddha,
Mm-hmm.
it is said that it will be last forever or it's like ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
So here it means like being freed from all the sufferings,
Mm-hmm.
all the problems
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of the like the worldly ruins.
Mm-hmm.
So being beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
that time when we call the happiness, I think it's like some like ultimate
Mm-hmm.
happiness.
So, also when I was talking with some monks in the monastery, there is also a problem came out. Like, who is the one who is experiencing happiness?
Okay, that's the great question.
Mm-hmm.
But the great being who already experience those
Mm-hmm.
happiness are the like we can mention them the Buddha and
Mm-hmm.
his follower like the Mahasiddhas, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of Buddha and
No, but
Bodhisattvas.
the problem is, like, if there is I,
Yeah,
then only somebody can experience happiness.
okay,
If
okay.
there is no I, how
Yeah,
to?
yeah.
Oh.
So the here I means is not doesn't mean that there doesn't exist like a Buddha or someone who experience.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
here means the no I means uh, realizing that I doesn't exist on its own
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
origin.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
depends on something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it means that the I doesn't exist on its own.
Mm-hmm.
It should
Mm-hmm.
depend on something or somebody. That's
Mm-hmm.
we call I, or
Mm-hmm.
that's where we recognized as I.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it doesn't mean that when there is no I, it doesn't mean that there is no one that who haven't experienced that happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can say that the Buddha, Bodhisattva, and the like Arhat, they have experienced, they have already experienced those ultimate happiness, according to the text of Buddhism. So it is said that still there are a lot of great beings who are experiencing those ultimate happiness by following the path or the teachings given by the Buddha.
So when we talk about Buddhism in general, there are multiple branches of Buddhism are
Yes.
existing. So how many branches of Buddhism are there?
Like Buddhism, we can divide or summarize in three categories, which is called the Theravada, the Mahayana, and the Vajrayana. So now Theravada, we can, for example, we can say it's like for beginner, or and then the Mahayana is for like intermediate, and the Vajrayana is for the advanced practitioner. Or we can say that the Theravada is like mainly focusing on the awareness of what your body and sensations, the external body, external sensations. Whereas like in Mahayana, it goes like much deeper than the Theravada, where it makes the priority of other, helping the other. So, and when main purpose of Vajrayana is to visualize yourself in the like the deities, visualizing all the places you are surrounding is like the mandala. So this is the, I think we can say it as in the
So
three
if
category.
somebody want to be in a Buddhist, he has to start from Theravada, then go to Mahayana, then Vajrayana.
Yeah.
So it's a gradual
Process or
process,
yes,
like step by step.
step by
So
step.
like we all know, like each person is different from each other.
Yeah.
One person is different from that another person. So how do you see, like if somebody want to start and go to Vajrayana and experience the ultimate bliss, which Buddhism is speaking about, and how many years he has to spend on Theravada, and how many years he has to spend on Vajrayana, then like that.
One thing I can say is that it depends on the individuals, because some are like more interested in the Vajrayana. Directly they want to join in Vajrayana, Vajrayana Buddhism, and some they want to join directly into Mahayana, whereas some are interested only to learn through the Theravada tradition. So now this doesn't make the difference in the teachings, but whereas if you want to join directly into the Vajrayana also, you have to have the thoughts or the knowledge of the Theravada. Whereas you have to be awareness of being what you are doing while you are walking, while you are drinking tea, while you are having food, while you are sleeping, while you are talking, whatever you are perceiving. So you have to always have aware of what you are perceiving in this present moment. This is the mainly practiced in the Theravada. So this practice you should have that one. So now when it comes to Mahayana, we call the bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is like the motivation or aspiration, that thought of helping others, making other more priority than ourselves. So where it makes to it makes us or help us to reduce our selfish. So
Selfish
yeah,
nature.
it is taught to do more service to others in Mahayana. So now when we are saying that some person, when they want to join directly to do Vajrayana, it depends on how they are intellectual and how their mind is open-minded. Because some Buddhists, they cannot accept Vajrayana as the Buddhist teaching. There are some Buddhists who don't accept the Vajrayana as the Buddhist teaching, where they can only accept the Theravada and Mahayana as the Buddhist teaching. So this depends on their own intellectual, how intellectual they are, in which level they are. So now, so the year, if we say in about, it depends on some people. They just spend like a few months and few years studying the Theravada, then they just learn the Mahayana, and they after a few years or few months they just learn about the Vajrayana. But according to the text, some even spend eons and eons just practicing the Theravada tradition. Then they will, after many years, after thousands of years, then only they can learn the Mahayana.
Thousands of years means, but
after taking a lot of lives, after exchanging, transforming a lot of life, then only they are able to practice the Mahayana. And after spending a lot of lives in the Mahayana tradition, practicing Mahayana tradition, then only they are able to practice the Vajrayana. So this is, there is also like the Katha, or we call the Jataka tells, where it speaks about lives after lives of the practicing Buddhism through life after life, and taking a lot of times to practice or to reach in that level. But in Vajrayana, if you are fortunate to practice the Vajrayana, you can attain Buddha in one lifetime. In this life, you can practice Theravada, you can practice Mahayana, you can practice Vajrayana in one single life. You can become a Buddha in one single life. So whereas we have like an example of in Tibetan yogi, which we call Milarepa, who is the great father of a Kagyu lineage. So he was the one who practiced in his single life and attained Buddhahood.
So Milarepa is a very good disciple. I also read the book of Milarepa. In Gurukula, the first book they give is like, you have to be like him. He's a great disciple also. Like, so do you feel like such a commitment is needed to become a Buddha? Like,
if you want to become Buddha in single life, you have to make commitment like him. You have to take hardship like him. You also should be fortunate like him, because most of us are not fortunate to be like him, that we are able to practice whatever the Guru says. So that's why we are lack of our fortunate, we are lack of our hardship. We don't put our commitment in as he did. We are unable to fulfill our commitment or the wishes of Guru. So that's why we fail to achieve or attain those state or to become Buddha.
So Buddhism also is a religion as well. Like, like I also read there are conflicts between the Vajrayana Buddhism and the Mahayana Buddhism, and also there is a branch called Hinayanam also.
Hinayana is the like Theravada. There is a true tradition in Theravada. There are many schools in Theravada. So the Theravada is also known as the Hinayana, whereas Mahayana, Hinayana. So Hinayana means like the Mahayana means like the greater vehicle. The Hinayana means the small vehicle. The smaller and greater is measured by the concept or the intellectual level of how you are open-minded or how you are practicing. Whereas like in Hinayana or Theravada, it talks only about liberating yourself. First, you have to liberate yourself from all the sufferings, and all the problems. Whereas in the Mahayana, they normally don't talk about themselves. They want to liberate all the sentient beings, all the living beings, all people, all animal wants to be free from the suffering. That's why the Mahayana, they always focus on the how to liberate others. There's like 3 categories in the Mahayana also, like making commitment. There is one commitment which talks about like commitment like a king. First, I myself becoming king, then I will look after the others. This is the one commitment, and this is the least the Mahayana can do. And the second is like a thinking like the navy or captain or the boat, the ship, the one who is you can say that the pilot of the plane also, or like driver of the car. So now you take that passenger with yourself. So you both reach to the same destination at the same time, right? So, and there is this is the second commitment, and there is another commitment which is called the greatest commitment. It's like a commitment like a shepherd. Shepherd, they just allow all the sheep to go ahead him, then only he follow the sheep. They take care of all the sheep before himself, then only he comes after the sheep. He take care of all the sheep, goes in the right direction and go in the with safety, and they all take care of all the ships. So here it's like the commitment of the shepherd, commitment like a shepherd, commitment like a navy, commitment like a king. So now which you want to be depends on the individual interests.
So, and now when we come to the Vajrayana, so like Hinayana, we spoken, it is about individual liberation, like and when it comes to the Mahayana, it is the liberation for the
All
community
and
which
yes,
you
yes.
are living to. And now, what is happening in Vajrayana?
Vajrayana, they should have the concept of the Mahayana, but the Vajrayana have like the quickest, fastest way, fastest method. The intentions and the motivation is same like a Mahayana. The Vajrayana is they are like skillful, so they are fastest, they are quick. It's like the Mahayana is like taking all the sentient beings like from by ship, whereas the Vajrayana is taking the passenger or the other beings with the aeroplane, by plane. So same, but the difference is in the how fast they are. And in Mahayana, it talks that for to liberate others, you have to take your own hardship. But whereas in Vajrayana, you should always have your guru. You should have always someone who will guide you. So for that, in Vajrayana, you should always be with your guru, without inseparable with him. Like which means that you have to always take his instruction, his guidance with yourself, so that you can help all the beings to get liberated through the problems. So this is the difference how there's not much difference in the Mahayana and Hinayana. No, Mahayana and the Vajrayana, sorry.
And also, like we have seen this, and Buddhism also is a religion. So also there are multiple newses are coming out, like there are problems with the conflict between Vajrayana Buddhism and Hinayana Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism. Like, how do you see this? Like,
okay, so there are some who call that Buddhism as the religion, but according to as per the text itself, it doesn't define as the religion. It defines more like a science, more like a way of life. So if we rely on the text which explains more science or more way of life, Buddhism as the science, Buddhism as the way of life. If you think on this view, if you have those opinion, there's no conflict between the any school. But if you accept, or if you are accepting or believing that Buddhism is the religion, then there is naturally that there is the conflict between the Vajrayana and the like Mahayana and like the Hinayana also. So there is conflict. Theravada also. There was in the past also there were that most of the Theravadian followers, they didn't accept the Vajrayana as the teaching of Buddha. There were a lot of conflict, but the Indian scholar like Nagarjuna and the Chandrakirti, they were the greatest scholar of the Nalanda University during that time, and they clear all doubts by proving that the Vajrayana is also the teaching of the Buddha. So they have given a lot of reason, they have given a lot of logic, which we can learn through their teachings, which still exist in the we can find in the some in Sanskrit also, some in Tibetan also, and even in the Chinese languages. And nowadays it's also translated into English also.
So in this school, there is a teaching all three in this particular school. So anybody can, whoever coming to this school to study Buddhism, they will go through all these three processes.
They should go through all those schools. If they don't go through all those schools, then they are lacking the whole part of the Buddhism. If they follow only certain school, so they are knowing or learning only some part of the Buddhism, not whole. So now when I say whole, there is also like we should need a lot of languages. It's like you should know the Tibetan languages, you should know the Sanskrit and Pali, you should know the like Chinese languages also, because a lot of texts are found on those 4 major languages.
And also in Buddhism also we can find temples and some rituals
Yeah, yeah.
and stuffs like that. How do you see, like, is that the part of the Mahayana or Hinayana or Vajrayana, the temples and rituals?
Okay. So the temple and rituals, we can say that the temple was during the Buddha also. There was like there wasn't the temple like which we see now, but there were like places where they used to stay. Like there were some garden, ashram, like ashram or like vihar, which called vihar, where they used to say where they used to stay together and where they used to spend a night meditating and resting, sleeping and like, studying. So there were some like gardens and somewhere like a forest. So this were also like this were like a temple for them, the monastery. So later on, whether when the time get changes or when the time passed, so all the kings or the sponsor of the Buddhism, they sponsored for building the temple. Like they have built the Nalanda University, so which is the first university in the world, which is known as the first university. So where there was a lot of like 10,000s of students, more than 10,000 students, where they were learning a lot of arts, philosophy, language, poetry, and the practice of meditations. So they were like they built a lot of large university, Vikramashila, Otentapuri, then the Takshashila. Those were all the greatest institute in the ancient time. So when we talked about this one, so now we see that institute or the temple, monastery, it's like a method. Or it's like if you are having a tea, just now we are having tea, so it's like a cup. So no matter how the cup is, the shape of cup, so color, it doesn't mix. The only essence of cup is to hold the tea, so that we can enjoy the taste of the tea. We can enjoy the sipping tea. So the main purpose of the rituals and the temples, monasteries, whatever, is to know the essence of the Buddhism.
So the temples are there for all the three branches of
Yeah,
Buddhism.
for
So the temples are different from each one.
each other. Yeah, there's many differences. Whereas because like in Theravada temple, there's no much decorations and this is very simple way. Whereas in the Vajrayana, there's the temple are mostly decorated very beautifully. They were like even the gold plated. They paint with the silver, they paint with the gold, bronze, and so many the precious things. So there is much difference in the between the Theravada temples and the Vajrayana temples. Whereas in Vajrayana temple, there are also like the marks. So therefore, the marks trans, where we cannot find those marks traces and marks in the Theravada temple.
I didn't understand what was that.
Marks.
Okay, mask. Okay, they wear a mask.
Yeah, marks.
Like giant.
No, not giant. So have you heard of the marks trans?
No.
Okay. So they in the Vajrayana there is like a trance. There are monks. They dance wearing masks. It's like there is different type of masks with different animal. Some has like the face of Garuda. Some has the face of monkey. Some has a fake face of ox. Some has a face of tiger and lion. So they wear those masks and they trance.
They get the trance from that.
To transform the practice, to visualize their realizations of the practice, what they are practicing. So to show that their realizations of inner realization, they make a trance with a figure of the outer body. So these are not found in the Theravada tradition or Theravada school. But the main essence is to, like as I have mentioned earlier, so it's to reduce the selfishness, or to your ignorance, to clear out your laziness, to clear your greed, anger, hatred. So to this, in the Vajrayana, there's like a form of trancing, form of making ritual, the form of making offering. So while you are visiting the Vajrayana temple, there you can find a lot of precious gold, silver. These are all that you have to make a sacrifice, or why you should not get attached to those things. You should make it offering to the monastery. So if we are able to do it in this way, if we are able to offer our all the belonging things like the gold, silver, whatever you have, so you are being more generous by offering those to the monastic and for the good purposes.
General
Yeah.
good.
So the generosity. So it's for useful for the practice of ritual, practice for the practitioner also. So even in future generation, that those things will remain as their the historic iconic, where the future generation can learn through the history that there used to be such a certain monastery which have certain precious things like the statues and the paintings. They have like murals. They have like a what's it, which you call the shrine. So there's a lot of things. So this is also like making painting and making statues, making a design of the mandala. These are also the exploring our the skills of arts from the practitioner. So when the practitioner they reach in the certain level of their practice, so they have certain skill of arts. So this is like a exploring their art skill through their painting, through their dancing, through their making mandalas, painting mandalas, decorating all those shrines.
So this is a natural state where people should reach
We can say
through meditation.
through meditation. This is the method to realize the nature state also.
Like Rumi, you know about Rumi, is the mystic from the I mean esoteric tradition of Islam. Like,
Okay.
you know, like kissing and dance, something like that. Like you know, so this state of being is been reached through meditation. That's what.
Yeah.
So the art is like you know it's coming out from
Yes.
when
Yeah.
we are into that
That
state
level,
of
yes.
that level.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the esoteric tradition of Buddhism. When I'm trying to refer to esoteric tradition, like Tantrik tradition, basically, because the what I understand is that the Tantric technique, many Tantric technique, that will give immediate trance actually
Yes. Right.
from the normal being to
True.
the higher
Yes.
being.
Yes.
So the what is the way, like you know, I saw there are many mysteries, like you know, like Tibetan Buddhism is more of the Tantric
Yes.
practices, and Himalayan Buddhism, things like that, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So what do you see about this? How do you see about this?
So when we say that the Tibetan Buddhism or the Himalayan Buddhism, they are more their main practice. They always do the practice of Vajrayana, which is morely tantra than the sutra. They do these practices.
What is the difference between Sutra and Tantra?
Sutra and Tantra. So now the difference between here Sutra and Tantra is like in Sutra you can find a lot of the informations or the instructions about regarding the Theravada, Mahayana, even the like the Vajrayanas. But in Tantra, it's mostly about the
Technique.
Vajrayana technique so, and the rituals. So whereas in Sutra it's very less to find about the Tantra. We can find some, but not that much. Only few. So this is the difference, or we can say differentiate by this one.
So in this tantric technique, like you know, what you can share with us, like you know, because many of the secret teachings are hidden, and whatever you feel like sharing with us, like you know,
Regarding the Tantric.
tantric.
Okay. So Tantric is like when we say the Tantric teachings in the Vajrayana Buddhism, here the Tantric is like uh, not believing yourself as the ordinary. You should always visualize yourself as some superior, super human, super beings, which means that you have ability to do or ability to achieve everything. So if we talk about being a Buddhist, like we have ability to achieve the Buddha, we have ability to become a Buddha in this one lifetime if we follow or if we get that the Guru. But the main thing that we should have is the first is the devotion towards the guru, and devotion towards the dharma. So in Vajrayana Buddhism, we rely more in the guru, because the mind of guru is the Buddha. The speech of guru is the teachings of the Buddha.
Means
And
a sutra.
so now
It's a sutra. Can we say it is sutra?
sutra, also this also can. But normally we say that the speech of the guru is like the teachings of the Buddha. So now the body of the guru is like the sangha. So now all Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, all are included into one guru. So then now going refuge to guru makes that we are going refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So this makes us the entry through the main gate of the Buddhism. So you become the Buddhist if you're taking refuge to the guru. So we are going refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So now when we rely on the guru, we have to have first the devotion. Devotion that of being that I will rely on you until I attain the enlightenment. But before relying on someone or some guru, we have to analyze him, how he is qualified, how he is capable of leading me or giving those instructions and blessings. We have to analyze him for like a minimum for 12 years. This is what said the text.
So if after 12 years you found that guru is not suitable,
then you can change. You have to change.
So but time has gone, right?
Yes, yes. But we have to keep like it's not necessary that you have to achieve in this life also, but we have like continue life. We have to have that hope also. If we cannot find guru in this life, we should make great prayers and dedications that may I find a guru, the suitable guru in my next life. So this is how that you should have like a motivation. It is very good that if you can get in this life, but if you don't get, also you have to have a hope, belief, or trust to get in the other life. If you keep on this after life, if you believe and trust, so in one day we will find that one. So this is how they relay in the guru in the Vajrayana. So now when he calls the teachings of the Vajrayana, so now firstly is our devotion towards the guru, and second is the blessing of guru. So if we have like a devotion towards the guru and the blessing of the guru, these two gets the connections, and then we can achieve
Buddhahood.
We can realize the real nature of our mind, real nature of all the phenomena. We can realize all the like selfless or the emptiness, whatever you call. So through this achievement, you can continue the practice and level. Then in a certain moment you will become the enlightened, or you become the achieved Buddha also. So there is like a certain level of the path, so where we call the like the first bhumi, second bhumi, like till 13 bhumi in the Vajrayana. Whereas in Sutrayana there is like a 10 bhumi.
Bhumi means what?
Bhumi means the ground of the wisdom, ultimate wisdom. So when you first realize the nature of your mind, you are achieving or entering the first state of the bhumi. So this to realize the nature of your mind, nature of all phenomena.
So what all are the practices generally, like each guru's practices will be different, or is there a set of practices that is common?
The common is like which I said, like the devotion, the blessing. So these are all the common, the blessing. You should have the thought of devotions. You should have thought of renunciation. Renunciation, the not having attachment to this life or these worldly things, whether fame, money, power. You shouldn't have that the attachment to those things. If you have those attachment towards those things, then you are becoming like same like the other worldly beings. You are attached to your power, attached to fame, or attached to the positions or the money or whatever, therefore name. So you should get renounced from those all things. I don't want any like being renounced from all those worldly things. And secondly, is like going refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So which I mentioned, like I going refuge to Guru also. So this is the first called the refuge, taking refuge. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. So this is the refuge. And second is the arising your bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is like generating or being open-minded. having open-minded of helping others,
Mm-hmm.
other society,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where which where I've talked today early morning in that how the other are more important to us
Mm-hmm.
because we exist because of the help of other. There is a lot
Mm-hmm.
of countless beings who are helping in our own existence.
Mm-hmm.
We exist because of their help and their
Okay,
hardship.
okay, okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
in return, we have to repay them their kindness. But
Mm-hmm.
how? Through our aspiration, making prayer, and, so through our practice.
Mm-hmm. And in a tantric tradition, we can also see Tara. Like,
Yes, yes,
what is the involvement of Tara? And also Vajra Yogini also is
yes, yes, yes.
symbolized in
Yeah, there is like a
many
female
things.
form. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when we call about the Tara, it's also like there is you can say that he's like a female Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
The Buddha, the Tara was the one who made a commitment
Mm-hmm.
of becoming a Buddha in female form,
Mm-hmm.
as a female.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we can call her as the female Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
As
Tara.
as I've said earlier, there is a lot of countless Buddha also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the Tara also we can call the Buddha,
Mm-hmm.
the female Buddha.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now the main energy of Tara is to fulfill our wish very fast, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you want to achieve something, or if you want to realize something, or if you want to uh, accomplish very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
so we make aspiration, we make the help, or we make the aspirations and prayers to Tara so that we can get connect with the energy of Tara, so that we can achieve very quickly.
Mm-hmm. 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 And what you
What
Vajra Yogini?
Vajra Yogini is also like other female form of Buddha, or we can call it deity also. Deity also. So this is also similarly. So especially in Vajra Yogini in our tradition, like when we practice in our school, like in our monastery here, so we ourselves visualize as the Vajra Yogini. So if you are a Vajra Yogini, so it's easy to get connected with the other powerful deities.
Ourself in the sense, like, in Buddhism also believe there is a male part and female part in the
Yes, yes,
body.
yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So female part, it's like we can call it like an energy, female energy, or the like the male energy, or something. This can be also.
So can we say the Tara and Vajrayogini practices are for the female part of our own self, or how do you?
We can visualize ourselves in the female form as the Vajrayogini, Tara also. But in every being there is like a true part which calls like a wisdom part and the skill part. So when it comes to wisdom, so we normally visualize as the female form, like a female Buddha and the female Tara, female Vajrayogini. So this become the wisdom part. So now skillful is like a male part. Male part. So normally,
Storm part in the sense?
sorry,
Storm. What is that storm part?
skill, wisdom,
Huh?
wisdom,
Wisdom.
Yeah,
Okay.
wisdom part is known as the female part. Now, because the female are normally they are very intellectual, naturally intellectual, whereas the male is very skillful but not that much intellectual, according to the comparing to the female part. So this is what explains in the text also, where we say that even the general female also they are more intellectual than the male. They are where the even the science proves that, because the female normally women they can talk in the phone, at the same time they can make a omelette, they can look after the child, they can wash the dish, they can do a lot of works in the same time, but men cannot do this work. If he try to do those so many things in the same time, he will spoil something. He will burn the omelette, or he will fall down with some cup and plates, or he will fail to look after the child or something like that.
This can be a skill, no?
Yeah,
Like,
so
it is not because what I like to see is, like, intellectual part, like job, task, and all, like, the, I think it's contradicting.
yeah,
No?
this also we can say it's also skillful, but this skillful is can be managed through the intellectual power. If you don't have that intellectual power, you cannot hold the, you cannot manage that skill. Though you have so many talents and skill, if you don't have that intellectual to manage all those things, the management, the idea of management is become intellectual.
So, what is the any like we have spoken about the visualizing the deities
yes.
in the tantric
Tantric
practices.
practice.
So, what all are the simple visualization technique you
Simple.
would yeah you would
Okay,
love to?
simple. You can say like the visualizing ourselves as the
Mm-hmm.
Tara also,
Mm-hmm.
or at the Avalokiteshvara. The most Himalayan people visualize themselves is like Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara is like the deity of or the god of compassion.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a Buddha of compassion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So his main purpose is being compassionate to others.
Mm-hmm.
So his mantra is like Om Mani Padme Hum.
Mm-hmm.
So we normally, the Himalayan people, they practice the Om Mani Padme. It's very easy to recite, very easy to visualize this, and this is called the compassionate Buddha. It means that the Avalokiteshvara is the combination of the all the compassion of the countless Buddha. So which means we can understand as like the it's like energy of compassion energy of Buddha.
So this is one technique, visualization.
Yeah.
Then also you spoken about the yantras.
Sorry.
I mean the mandalas.
Mandalas, yes, yes,
So
yes.
this is also a tantric practice.
Yes, yes. Tantric practice. So when we enter into the practice of tantra, there is like a certain mandala. So there is a lot of mandala, so which is like a painting or the mandala which we can paint on the clothes, paper, or where we can paint on the wall also, or we can make a model of the mandala. Like we can build mandala, or we can curve the mandala on the wood or in the stone also. But there is like other mandala where we can build or decorate by the sand mandala. So the sand mandala is the most popular mandala which is practiced in the Vajrayana Monastery.
Okay.
So it's a very difficult to build. It takes a lot of time, like to make one mandala by like 5 or 6 monks, or sometimes like 10 monks also. So they have to spend like 3 to 4 days, or sometimes 5 days also. So regarding their ritual practices, it, the mandala depend on the which text you are practicing. So some mandala we can complete in within 1 day or 2 days, but some takes 3 to 4 days also. So after practicing on this mandala, so the grains or the numbers of the sand, it's countless. Similarly, we visualize that there is a lot of countless deities or the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in this universe. So that when you are making offering to the mandala, or when you are prostrating to the mandala, that means that you are offering to all the Buddha and Bodhisattvas, all the supreme beings in the universe.
And also there are mudras has been used.
Yes, yes, mudra also. There's like a mudra, the sign language, so which we show by through the gesture of our hand, and like even our body. Or it's like if you are peaceful, they just smile, and if you are fierce, and if you are wrathful, they just show their teeth with their eyebrow, with the wide open eye. So these are all the symbols that are shown through their body also. And there's like the gesture of like a finger also, where you like giving the blessing, where you are giving the teachings, whether you are sitting in the meditative state. So these are all like the mudra. So if you are staying in this way, you are like meditating. You are in a meditation form. So if you are speaking like this, you are giving a blessing. So if you are staying like this, so you are in the state of another form of meditation. So in this way, there are a lot of
Mudras
mudra.
And sutras also you recite while doing the practices.
Sutra
Huh.
in the mudra.
With mudra, sutras,
Sutra, I think there's no mudra.
no mantras has been
Yes,
practiced.
yes, no, no. It's very less in sutra.
So with the mudras, you consecrate into the mandalas.
Yes, yes.
This is what happens.
It's also we can do
No
with the mandala
chant,
also.
nothing, no mantras or no chant
Yes.
over there. Is
So
there?
they say we can practice without also without the uh, uh, there is like a there is uh, the mudra also with the using the mandala also, and there is like a mandala without using the mudra also. So there is a practice. I mean that there is a practice of mudra without using the mandala also, and there is the practice of a mandala without using the mudra also, and there is some like using both combination.
Combination
Yes,
also.
yes.
Okay.
So it depends on which practice and which in which session you are doing this. Depends.
And is there anything else you want to talk about these practices?
Regarding
Like if somebody want to be in the
Vajrayana
Vajrayana,
practice.
yeah,
Okay.
where do they start? Like for example, somebody from some maybe some general public, they may not be knowing about
Okay,
the
okay.
practices.
So first, before joining the practice or learning the or becoming the practitioner of the Vajrayana Buddhism, you should be first Buddhist. So now, for to be Buddhist, you should be know what is Buddhism and what really Buddhist talks about. So there is a book called "What Makes You Not a Buddhist." I recommend that to read that book. This clearly shows what makes you not a Buddhist. What if you follow certain thing, then you become the Buddhist. If you don't follow this, you become the non-Buddhist. There is the view. So as I said, that there is no creature, there is no permanent things that which believe in the certain belief in the Buddhism. So first, before joining or becoming the Vajrayana practitioner, you have to be able to become a Buddhist.
Buddhist. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, and the second is commitment is like going or taking refuge towards the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, making commitment that I will follow you as my teacher. I will follow you as my path. I will follow Buddha as my teacher. I will follow the Buddha's teaching as my path, and I will follow Sangha as my spiritual friend or my friend through my journey. So after taking those commitment, then only you will think the view of the Buddhism, being awareness. Of this. So now you have to be all those, be able to know all those awareness practice of Theravada and like making priority of others in the Mahayana. Then only you become the good practitioner of the Mahayana, Vajrayana. So before entering or becoming the Vajrayana practitioner, you should be able to become that.
So then only you can get the
Yes, yes.
whatever
Then
it
only
is.
you can become the real Vajrayana practitioner. But if you are unable to become the real Buddhist or the whatever which we discussed earlier, so if even though you claim as the Vajrayana practitioner, you don't become the
You really don't
you
get
yeah
the essence.
we don't really become the Vajrayana practitioner. So now when we say in the Buddhism the practice, whether you practice Vajrayana or Mahayana or the Theravada, it's all about the taming your mind, transforming your mind, or practicing those methods to realize the nature of your mind. So because the nature of mind is the same as the Buddha. So now to realize that Buddha, to realize that nature of mind, you have to go through certain levels, so that once you realize that nature of mind, you become Buddha.
Okay.
So now you have chance to become a Buddha. So that in Buddhism says every being have a opportunity to become a Buddha,
Okay. Okay.
because every being have a mind. So the mind have its own nature. If we realize that nature, so we become Buddha.
Okay. So if somebody want to connect with you or want to study you, how they can do
With me or
or
here in our
general
in okay.
general I don't know
Okay, so if they if they want to learn to Buddhism, so I will firstly recommend to read that book, What Makes You Not a Buddhist, and secondly, the biography of Buddha. The I think that the book's name is like All Part or White Cloud, All Part or something like. I don't remember the exact name. It was written by the Vietnamese, the Buddhist master called Thich Nhat Hanh. I think. So he was the novelist in literature also. No, I think maybe peace. I don't remember the name. So I recommend you to know the biography of Buddha, and to so if you read those books, then they can know more, or they can get the right information about the Buddhism. And the second thing is that to receive those blessing energy, or to have that the energy flow of the Buddhism, you should always talk with the person teacher, which is much more than realized or experienced in yourself. Just reading by books and collecting information from the Google, we may get information, but not the energy, because the flow of energy should be passed from human to human or mind to mind. So this is what I can recommend.
So if they want to come and join in the monastery or
Okay.
whatever,
So
is it possible, or how it is like?
yeah, that's a lot of chances or opportunity in many monasteries where it's open for everyone. But regarding in Sikkim, it's a little bit difficult for the foreigner to come and join monks in the Sikkim, because of the visa. They don't get the visa for a certain long time. They might get only for 1 year visa if they come as a student. They get a student visa. In general, they can get only 1 or 2 months. So in other places like in Nepal, any other part of India, it's possible that you can come and join in the monks. For Indian, you can come here also, Rumtek. So there are a lot of other.
So where we can contact and?
You just come here with and talk with our some monks, and they will take you to the representative of the monastery, or the in charge of the monastery. They will talk and they will ask you some questions, why you are interested, for how long you will be here, or something like. So if you are really interested and if you are really dedicated to be one, then there is a lot of opportunity there where you can experience
Buddhism.
Yeah. So now there is not necessary that certain that you have to stay for like a whole life also. Some comes and experience like for a few years, and after that they leave. Or some want to stay for whole life. It depends on our individuals'
Interest.
interests.
Okay. Like, was it possible for 5-6 months or a year? Like,
Yeah, it's also possible. But there it depends. Like there is like a, if you just want to learn the Buddhism, staying in the monastery also, you can learn in any monastery. You just go there and you can just attend the class also. You can just talk with the professor or teacher or some monks also, where you can get a lot of information, knowledge, where they share their experience.
No, like being like living in monastery and the experience the way of life, like this is different from collecting some information
yes.
from some people, some random people. They all know only book, like so something like that has to
Yeah, that's
happen.
possible in many monastery, but in some monastery there might be a restriction where they say that you should have certain and such things, so they might ask you.
Okay. So you like to give your Facebook or any ID, like for the people who are listening to the podcast, like
Podcast. I can share the phone number at the moment.
yeah,
No
I
phone
can
number.
give it in the
Yeah, you can share.
yeah.
Okay.
So people can connect with
Yes,
you.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Through WhatsApp, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.